So the Trump administration has a massive problem, and it's really simple. The United States has run out of money. Now, this is creating a big issue for President Trump himself as he is trying to accomplish the promises that he made while campaigning. He said he was going to bring down inflation. Well, that has yet to happen. He's also said he is going to deport tens or hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants. Again, that's yet to happen. He's also said he is going to extend the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. He's going to eliminate taxes on tips, overtime income, and on Social Security benefits. Again, that's all yet to happen. But why? Well, there's a big issue that's happening. I want to explain what this is and why lawmakers are currently fighting over this. Again, this is showing what we are about to face over the next several months, but the American people are likely going to pay as a result. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates, and now let's begin. So yes, it is true. The United States has run out of money. But look at this. This article from today, it says Trump's tax cuts are stuck in the mud as Republicans are split over spending. It says hardline conservatives are asking for more than $2 trillion in cuts over the next decade. It says lawmakers are discussing extending tax cuts for only a few years, and senators say they're ready to move on a border security package. So here's what's happening. Right now, what the Trump administration is trying to accomplish is something very simple. They're trying to make cuts to the currently established federal government and to find ways to claw back spending. Okay, if we can reduce the amount of spending, potentially cutting $2 trillion in funding over the next decade, well, that's big. That's $200 billion a year. Okay, that's really big. But we're not coming close to that. I want to show you something though. One of the big things that the Trump administration has said could actually reduce the amount of spending is if we can deport, tens or hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants. Well, that makes sense, right? We could reduce the amount of spending we have there. We can reduce the amount of housing assistance, insurance costs, the food costs, right? All those things. I get it. But at the same time, how well is that going? Well, look at this. It says, ICE raids Denver area apartment buildings. It was unclear how many migrants were arrested in the Trump administration's latest immigration enforcement action. Residents said at least 8 people were led away in handcuffs. Okay. Now, here's where things get very interesting. Okay? This is where they get very interesting. Now we're starting to see businesses push back. It's a little too much. Okay, look at this. It says the prospect of immigration agents entering schools is sending shockwaves among communities. Not only ICE agents entering schools, but churches and now hospitals. It's becoming a bigger issue. But as this is happening, Mexico and the United States, and here's the good news, that Mexico may not get hit with tariffs in the next 30 days. Mexico and the United States are now playing nice. They are now in agreement. And look what Mexico just did. Mexico started sending troops. You can see it right here. These are people, these are the Mexico National Guard troops that are now at the U.S. southern border on the Mexico side. They are now ready to hold off any illegal immigrants that are trying to or attempt to enter into the United States. That's what we're about to see. Okay, so that's good news for Mexico and for the United States. We don't have a lot of new people coming in. We also don't have fentanyl coming across the border. That's great there. We also don't have an increased national security risk. Again, a lot of good news there. And for Mexico, that means there possibly is no tariff coming from Mexico in the next 30 days. Again, it's good news for the American people because that means less inflation. But look at this, okay? I want to play this clip for you. This is from Peter Doocy in the White House. He's asking the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, about catch and release. Listen to this.
And then one more thing. NBC is reporting that some of the illegal immigrants that we've seen rounded up and arrested are not being deported. They're being released with ankle or wrist monitoring devices, or they have to check in on the phone. So is the administration arresting more people than you have room for?
I have seen the reports, and I'm glad you brought it up because we want to address it. There have been a total of 461 illegal aliens. This is of this morning when I got this information from DHS that have been released from custody. Of the more than 8,000 that have been arrested since President Trump was inaugurated, it's less than 6%. And there are reasons for their release. Some of the factors include a lack of significant likelihood of removal in the foreseeable future, lack of detention availability, which is something this president and this administration has been incredibly vocal about. We are doing everything we can to deport and detain illegal immigrants, but we need Congress's help to increase funding for Border Patrol and for ICE to increase detention capability in our facilities. And then other serious medical conditions have also been the reasons for some of the release of these individuals. But
so there you go. So right now, one of the things that is going to pay for all these additional, this Trump agenda is if we can eliminate and send illegal immigrants back to their home countries. Well, that's now on hold. But here's why this is very interesting. What we are now hearing is that the Trump administration is accepting of the fact that, yeah, we have so many people here in the United States. Okay, we don't know where they're going. We don't know what they're doing. We don't even know who they are. So, based off reports, the Trump administration, if Republicans can work with Democrats, the Trump administration is okay with, at this time, having illegal immigrants put on an ankle monitor or a wrist monitor. Something that now the Trump administration knows where they are. Okay, they know who they are, where they came from. They know a little bit of their history and their background, but now they actually know where they are currently located in the United States. If for whatever reason they ever needed to get a hold of them, they could do so. They could go find them. Here's where things get interesting. This could mean we could have illegal immigrants stay here in the United States because right now Congress doesn't have the money to go and put another detention center up. Okay, we don't have the space. That's the issue. So right now the Trump administration, their problem is we do not have the capacity to hold 10 or 100,000 people in a detention center. We're just waiting for their home country to accept a deportation flight. That's what we don't have. Now, there's been talk that certain countries would accept any illegal immigrant out of the United States, but I believe that's unlawful to send a person to some random country. Just fly him out there, drop him off. I believe that's illegal. Okay? Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. Not only that, we do not have the space in Guantanamo Bay to send 1 million plus people just to go and wait. That's also going to increase the amount of funding we need for Guantanamo Bay. So what I can tell you right now is that, yes, the Trump administration does have a problem. The United States is out of money. Congress is working on this, but it could take some time. Right now, what we know is that the Trump administration is likely going to use the catch and release policy. They're going to catch these illegal immigrants, then they're going to put a monitor on them and release them back into the communities as long if they are not dangerous, they do not pose a danger or a threat to the community that they're in, they can be released. But if they are a gang member, they are violent, they have any type of felonies or arrests, then yes, they are likely going to be locked up, they will be arrested, and they will be deported at some point. So, we'll see what happens, but as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.